to me, telling to me, is like, wow, we can be so focused on our circumstances and situations that it distorts the view of Christ to where Christ becomes unrecognizable because we're not focused on him, we're focused on our circumstances, what's going on in our lives. What's
This tea's really good.
It smells good, yeah.
On the contrary.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the first episode of Into the Weeds. I'm your host, Josh Kelly, and this is a podcast that's kind of going to be all over the place. It's what Into the Weeds is. We're off the beaten path. We're into the weeds. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff, just day-to-day life, crazy, controversial issues, biblical theology. We're going to talk about heresy. We're going to talk about...
We're going to be in the woods.
I'm telling you, we're going to be in the weeds.
We're going to be in the woods pulling weeds.
So, welcome. Just buckle your seatbelt because it could get crazy. You could be offended. So, that's a very, very possible thing. But I'm here with my super good friend, Brandon Rossi. Not only is he a really good friend, but we launched a coffee company together.
We did.
Scruffy's Coffee.
Yep.
I'm pretty excited about that, bro.
Oh, dude, Scruffy's it's going to be off the chain. I think I was literally just thinking about this the other day. What I'm most excited about is everybody that has something bad to say about it and proving I'm wrong. Honestly, though, because I feel like there's more people now that I've had negative feedback more than positive. So I'm like, dude, I know that God's gonna bless it, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited.
I've had the opposite. I've had really good feedback. Yeah. Everybody loves the coffee.
Weird.
The coffee tastes great.
Yeah, well,
it's actually really good coffee, guys.
Okay, so here's the thing. Let me get context.
See,
okay.
Brandon's probably talking about some tea.
Yeah.
in the coffee industry.
So coffee is definitely good. The coffee is phenomenal. So I would say I have had nothing but good feedback on the coffee. Father-in-law, friends, people that have cupped it with us, all of that. But what I'm talking about is the relational aspect of it, where there is some tea, some stuff that's happening. You know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of stuff happening in the industry. And, what happens is you want people to get the bigger picture of what we're doing. Just so everybody's aware, life isn't about coffee. So, that's where I feel like the angle I'm going is, life isn't always about coffee. So, when we're talking about Scruffy's Coffee, to me, the first thing that comes to mind is, great coffee. But the first thing that comes to my mind is our mission.
Yeah.
It's the fight against child trafficking and sex abuse. And that's what I want people to see. So I'm like, when I say things like that, that's what I mean.
Gotcha. Yeah, because it's really good coffee. Nothing but... no negative comments on the way it tastes.
No, at all.
Or anything like that. We're working with some really cool people here in Jacksonville that's helping us out with the roasting until we can get on our feet with that.
Yeah.
That might bring even more tea.
Oh yeah, sure.
Once we start roasting our coffee. Anyways, that's not the point of this podcast.
Although our roasters are incredible, and I will say that they're super dope.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the Flamingo, Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah, they're awesome.
Absolutely. So, but Brandon, outside of Scruffy's Coffee, we've known each other for a few years, 5, 6 years, something like that.
2018, yeah. Dang, it has been that long already, man.
I know, bro. Time flies.
It really does, though.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun.
And it really has been fun, though. It's been crazy because I feel like we have been, our friendship has really been weird. Not in a bad way, but we have seen each other go through crazy stuff in the last 5 years, 6 years, dude. We really have.
Hey, now we're going through something together, which is it's new for us. That's awesome. It's great. It's good stuff. Yeah. But you're also a dean at a Christian school too, right?
Yep, I am. And I actually was just thinking about that earlier, because obviously conversations that we want to have on the podcast. I'm thinking about what is one of the craziest things that's happening right now. And you saying that, yeah, I do work for a school. I'm a dean, but also do a lot of like chaplain work. And right now, one of the craziest things that I'm having to go through is because of the shooting in Nashville. You know, that
I was just laughing at you because of the headphones.
was the worst moment to laugh, by the way. I'm just saying, that was the absolute worst time to laugh. God bless us. No, but for real, on a serious note, man, that's like just extremely sad. And just having to go through the training, the extra training at the school has been hard.
Yeah.
Like seeing where the teachers are at, the staff, like the students, not only the students' families, but things like that. And I'm just like, I have to stop and I have to pause. And I'm like, dude, having to do all of these things to make sure that we're secure and safe, it really does, it stops you
Right.
from the busyness of life. And you have to really think about what happens or what pops off.
Right.
Like when what happens in the moment if this pops off.
Yeah. And before y'all go thinking that I was laughing at the whole shooting thing, me and Brandon had a conversation before the podcast about to wear headphones or not to wear headphones. I'm not wearing any. He said he's going to wear them, and we kind of had a little, you know, a challenge.
So we went to a certain
Beforehand.
podcast, the podcast that I know that's really large, and I was like, "Look, dude, I'm gonna prove to you it's a thing."
Yeah.
Because here, my thought is that I feel more comfortable knowing that I can hear the details of everything from you and for me,
Yeah.
rather than it just being like, and it makes me feel like I'm in an echoey room. Here,
Yeah.
it's like I hear everything and it's condensed.
Yeah, so when you don't have headphones on, you don't hear everything. I told him we were just going to walk around
Just not the
town with
details
headphones on
in the mall. Just
in the
walk
mall
around the mall.
with microphones and headphones so we can hear everything around
Yeah,
us.
literally.
But no, back to the Nashville thing and you being in school. It is crazy because where my son goes to school now, you got the front doors, and they just put another set of doors up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you have to buzz the buzzer just to get into the doors, and then it's just the office,
Yeah.
and then you have to go through a whole nother, which I was extremely excited about, you
Yeah.
know, because that was one thing that I've been worried about. I mean, we live in Jacksonville, Florida. I mean, we live in Florida. Praise the Lord. You
Yeah.
know, we have some really good stuff going on, and so just to be able to see that, I'm like, all right, schools are being proactive, and I mean, I'm all for. You know, we have armed security at courthouses, right? So before we can go into a courthouse, we have to put our bags through metal detectors, X-ray machines, whatever, and then you have armed security that's there watching the whole step, the whole process. And I'm like, man, if we can do this for our government leaders, people who are just in the courthouse, our judges, our lawyers, our state attorneys, everybody that's in some sort of political arena, if we can do it for them, then how come we can't do that for our kids? Like, if our kids are the future, if our kids are the ones that are actually going to be the judges, the lawyers, the politicians in a sense, then why can't we spend the same money that we do on a courthouse on schools?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. And that's that. I feel like sitting in the rooms with all of our staff and even some parents, and then having the discussions on security. Like, what do you do whenever you are in open space, especially with where we are in Jacksonville? And, that's not the best place in Jacksonville, one of the best places in Jacksonville. So, we think about things all the now just stepping into it in it's a very real world that you don't think every school that has had to experience that has always thought that it would never happen to them.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that's where we're at, where as a school,
Yeah.
it's just having to step into it brings like reality.
What do you think? I know you're a private Christian school, so it's probably a little bit different in the thought processes, but you probably have a lot of different views. I'm sure you have some liberal views, and some conservative views from parenting and parents and other teachers and all that stuff. But like, what do you think about armed teachers, or maybe not even all teachers, but administrators, principals, assistant principal? What do you think about arming those guys? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, well, because we are private, it's a huge benefit. But I will say that there's a lot more people that are for it than against it, especially with the community. So we're a smaller community. So we're going to reach our limit. 300
Right.
kids is what we're allowing into the school.
Gotcha.
So that means we're doing probably an average of 170 families,
Yeah.
people, right? And then that isn't always a problem. But when you start getting into the 600 to 1,000 to 2,000, 3,000
Yeah.
kids per the school, you have so many more opinions. So I think personally for us, we have been okay with it being, if you're an administrator
Yeah.
and the administrative staff knows that you are going to carry
Yeah.
and you have a license,
Yeah.
a concealed weapons license, then yeah, you can. So
Right.
if I were to start carrying tomorrow at school, we know and we are all on the same terms that it would
Gotcha.
be okay. And we feel like that's the best for right now,
Yeah.
but putting things in place to make sure that we don't have to do that and
Right.
having security on site at all times. And,
Yeah.
our community, I mean, I think we make up of we have 20 police officer JSO dads,
Yeah.
so they'll sometimes just rally,
Hang out.
hang out around the school because that's their zone or whatever. They'll hang out in the parking lot just because it's,
Yeah.
they need to post up somewhere anyway.
Right. Yeah. I think for me personally, I think it'd be smart, if even if it's just, one or two administrators, right? And not just because, oh, you can carry. And now that, Florida's permitless carry come July, you don't have to have a permit to carry concealed.
Oh, did they pass that?
Yeah, they passed it. They signed it. It's in the books.
Nah.
You know. So I know now that you have things like that, but so a lot of people are like, but what about training? This, that, or the other. And in a sense, I kind of agree with that because I know people who carry guns that are just not saying they
Zero
shouldn't carry
idea,
guns,
yeah.
but if something ever happened, if they ever had to use it, they'd be better off just laying the gun down and running away from the
Oh,
situation.
well, see, but here's the thing. That's how I am with the gun too.
Yeah.
Like I have a gun, I have a license,
Yeah.
but I'm okay with carrying it, but I'm not confident.
Yeah.
Like I'll carry it, but I'm not confident using it. So
Right.
therefore, I want to go to the range. I want to learn. I want to become more confident with the gun. But not only me, but my wife.
Right.
Right. Because she wants to learn. She's like, I'm not carrying a gun unless I'm confident shooting it.
That's my wife too.
See, and that's
Yeah.
kind of how I feel. Like I'll carry it, but it's like if push comes to shove, is dude gonna really be able to pull the trigger?
Right.
That's how I feel like that's every question,
Yeah.
So when you get on site, it's like I can carry my gun on site
Yeah.
at school, anywhere,
Yeah.
at school specifically. And if I do, and if I have to use it, it's one of those things like, am I trained enough? Am I confident enough? You know?
And I think that's something that should, if it were to go, because I don't know what Florida's going to do with the whole, guns in school and all that stuff. But if, say, for instance, they do allow people to carry on school grounds, I think it'd be beneficial for them to go through, a certain amount of training for active shooter.
Oh, yeah.
Or something like that. So they know they can kind of get a little bit of the stress. You're not going to get the full stress in just training because, it's training. So there's a psychological aspect there that's like, hey, this is training. I'm going to go through this active shooter scenario. I know I'm not going to die. Everything's going to be fine. You get in a real active shooting spot, there's that, hey, I'm going in here, I could possibly die.
Yeah.
So I definitely think there should be training for stuff like that, but I don't know. That's just, something I'm thinking about. I'm all for guns,
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like
100%.
here's the thing. I feel like the average person is, but then you have your certain groups where they're like, they'll fight till death. They'll die on that hill. Unfortunately,
Guns kill people. People don't kill people.
that's not that's not a hill I'm willing to die on. I feel like, family is just too important. And, especially working for a school, it's like, man, I would do anything to save those kids.
Right.
And the staff,
Yeah.
anything,
Yeah.
whatever
And
I got to do.
That's the thing. If, like I said, if government feels like they need guns to protect them, law enforcement feel like they need guns to protect themselves, then it's all there's never going to be a time to where you can get rid of all the guns in America.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like you'd literally have to break a lot of constitutional rights to get
and who knows? We might have robots teaching classes soon enough.
Everything's already going virtual.
I know, dude.
You might as well just stare at a screen and not even send kids to school anymore.
Literally.
And then nobody can have a school shooting because everybody's.
That's what I'm saying. We might
learning
just
from
be
their living
full
room.
of the students might be robots.
Yeah.
You know, right? You never know. Like everything's AI these days. I'm still stuck on the fact
You
that
might
I was
have
like,
kids at school that are actual robots these days.
I hope not at our school. I don't know with some of the stuff, but here's what the one thing I'm still stuck on is from I was looking up most controversial topics in 23, and I'm still stuck on the fact that people are trying to fight for robot rights. I'm like, robot rights? Like, y'all found two R's that match, and y'all just figured out how to make it a thing.
You think they're gonna put one R and then backwards the other?
Isn't that what they did on the Will Smith movie? What is that? League of Legends or I Am Legend?
I Am Legend or iRobot, one of those.
Yeah, that's what it is. iRobot.
Yeah, Legend was zombies.
Oh yeah. That was a good movie though.
It was really good.
Yeah,
movie.
I Am Legend was a real good movie, solid. But I heard that they're making I Am Legend 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in production.
I forgot how the first one ended, so I don't know how they made it 2 unless the robots.
Dang, I don't remember. They combined the two movies. Legend Robots is the. Oh gosh.
Legend
dude.
Robots. Yeah.
AI.
Hey, Will Smith, if you see this, it's a great movie idea. So you can send the royalties
Proposal,
to
bro.
us.
Jolly Productions.
Right.
I mean, hit that. You got a film guy right here. Josh is one of the best in the game. So
I try to be. I try to be. I know. Speaking of controversial topics, I don't even know if I should bring this up, guys. I don't want this to be like a gossip thing.
yeah.
So I want to be careful with this. But I did hear that there was somebody. So one of my wife's friends knows this person. They were on a worship team at church.
Okay.
And they were told, hey, you're too big to be on the worship team. It doesn't really fit our image that we're trying to portray.
Bro.
So they said she couldn't be on the worship team because she was essentially they're saying, hey, you're too fat to be on the worship team. Right. But they offered her a surf position to park cars. This woman went from being on the worship team and was told, paraphrasing, you're too fat to be on the worship team because we want people that are attractive.
I need receipts.
And
I need message receipts.
You can be on the parking team though,
dude.
with all the dudes.
Bad. Okay. So
this is church in Jacksonville. What do you think about that? Are we too fat to worship? Like, is there an obese?
No,
rule?
honestly though, that is a real question though. Like, how grimy is that?
Yeah.
To think, like, can you imagine being sat down? But okay, hold on. Here's what becomes an issue for me, right? And I think we've had this discussion a lot. Is the church is supposed to be the safest place for people to come.
Right.
And it's become a terror house majority of the time. And here's the thing. It's like not every church, right? Not the whole thing, but let me take that back. Not terror house. That's not fair. But I think that there's a large group of people that are confused and lost and insecure.
Yeah.
And forget that they need the Lord as much as everybody else that comes in their doors as a pastor. Not even just pastors, staff, worship leaders, small group leaders. But what has happened, and bite back if you feel like this, you don't agree. What has happened is people have lost this, what they do. And this is a very overused thought. And I'm sure that a lot of people are going to cringe when they hear me say it. But we are the church statement, man, there has been nothing that has stuck out to me more in this season than that. And here's why. Because it is absolutely true. Yeah. Like, and that's why people are becoming hurt, because they think their building is the church and that they're no longer the church. It's a distorted idea of discipleship. And these people are stepping into leadership before they're called to leadership. Yeah. And that's why they're skewed and that's why they're jaded. So people are getting hurt. So then you call someone fat. You have to sit people down because they look a certain way because you think that your building is what is saving lives.
Yeah, and your online presence.
Yeah, and
what people see.
Exactly. So you're putting stock into visuals rather than the internal side of people, and it's hard to deal with. And to hear that, I'm like, sad.
I mean, wouldn't you just say like, "Hey, we don't think you can sing. Like, we just don't think you sound good."
But I mean, to be honest with you, plot twist is that Sis was probably the best one on the track. Like, she's probably the best one on the team.
Hey, we've all seen the Medea movies. Everybody on Medea can sing.
Facts.
That's
true. Tyler Perry, he hit some whistle tones. I ain't mad at him. But I'm just like, dude, that's a very sad, man. I'm praying for that because I don't even want to know deeper details because, that's where bitterness comes in. And yeah, you just got to stay away from that and stay prayed up. Because for me, I'm like, who does anybody think that they are to sit someone down and tell them that the way they look is not good enough for God, for praise to God?
Yeah.
Like, that's where we're at in this generation, man. People have the audacity to sit others down and be like, man, you're too this to praise God. Yeah. And it's like, but when I do it in private, it's good and it's sacred and it's sweet. But you're telling me that I can't lead people in that sacred and sweet moment?
Right.
It's not fair.
No, I don't think it is either. I think it's crazy. Honestly. I don't even know. I would even push to just see what worship was like when they sang Psalms back in, 60, 80. When Paul writes to the Corinthians, he's telling them, hey, this is kind of how you should do things. Let one preach, let people prophesy, let sing songs kind of thing. I wonder what that looked like, if it was just something that someone led and they all joined in and sang.
Right.
Or was it, did they have like 6 people that was up in front of everybody, came with their harps and their lyres and their little clay drums?
I don't know why I just envisioned all of what you just said, like these old scruffy people, like
just coming up here, just playing little strings.
But I imagine, okay, so when I imagine how worship functioned then, with what you're talking about, is just grateful hearts finding a place to worship.
Yeah.
They're just like, hey, we really take what the Bible says about where 2 or 3 are gathered. Like when Christ, you know what I mean? Like when the Bible says that, it just being gathered with Christ, where 2 or 3 are gathered. Like the idea, they just came as a very grateful people.
Do you think they stole the songs from the Levites and sang them?
I don't know, dude, because a lot of the hymns are just made up of scripture. Yeah. But
imagine Christians taking all the Levite songs and singing them. And that's really what they're so mad about. That's why the Jews didn't like Christians back then. They were like, no, you're stealing all our songs. We had these copyrighted.
It's not back then. It was just on tablets, scribes, where it just says C.
Could you imagine the hymns back then on stone? Imagine the library of hymns and it's all carved out on stone.
That's probably what they meant by, what do they say? Pray, or what is that old saying? Gosh, dude, praise in different tongues. What is the old African proverb? I can't remember. Gosh, dude, I hate that I can't remember. But anyway, so I only knew about it when I went to Africa. So
they probably made it up.
Yeah, probably it was the old African proverb or something, I think, where they were like, the pastor, oh, Richard, man, I miss him. Gosh, I love that man.
Yeah.
Dude, he is one of the sweetest people I've ever met in my life.
In Africa?
That man changed my life.
Yeah.
He really did. Yeah, he changed my life. I'll never forget whenever we went to Lake Victoria. And I had given him a leader.
Lake Victoria is awesome, bro.
It's so tight, yeah.
Bro, I love.
I know, yeah, it's nice, and it's so cozy just being out there because you see like all of the mountains, the lake, and I remember learning about Lake Victoria growing up.
And the people out in those long canoes.
Yeah,
literally jumping out of the boat with a net.
Yeah. But anyway, so I remember I gave him a liter of water, and I was like, "Man, Richard, I just love you so much," and he was so grateful for this bottle of water because it don't have fresh water.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you can have a bottle of water. Like, I don't care, But to me, that's normal. You know, as I look over like and I see Fiji bottles or like Voss water bottles just sitting around at the school, I'm like, it's casual. Like you don't see it. So you think of $1.99 bottle of water that you're giving away to a, you know,
Yeah.
a friend. It's like, whatever, dude. He's so grateful for it. Well, anyway, we get into the lake. So I get in with my feet. I roll my pants up, you know, and get in knee high. And I get out. And my man used the bottle of water, the fresh water that I gave him to drink that he never gets to clean my feet.
Yeah.
And he washed my feet completely. And it changed my life.
Yeah.
I'm like, and even to this day, that's not even the best part. The best part is the next day I had no sandals there.
Yeah.
And I needed sandals because you know how dusty it is in Africa.
yeah.
It's just intense, man. Like I don't know what you would call that. They call it something, but anyway, it's very dusty.
Not
and
the desert.
yeah.
But it's dusty.
Yeah.
Sahara.
Yeah. Anyway,
Savannah.
so my man says, he's like, oh no, we're going to find you sandals. And I was like, Rich, you ain't finding me sandals. And he's like, oh no, he's like, I'm going to find you sandals. And I'm like,
wear everything small in Africa.
yeah, everything's small.
Everything's small.
Dude, your skinny jeans are high waters. My man got some skinny jeans and they got,
out. I mean,
they got the green knee patch.
I think it's just the way I'm sitting for these. Why do pants ride up whenever you sit down?
Because they're denim.
Yeah, but I do got some.
And the way our waist is, when you have your pants up the way they need, they ride.
I always gotta like pull my pant legs down.
That's why I wear high
used to be
socks.
really-
If you wear high socks, it makes you feel like you just have high pants on, or you have pants on all
I
the
used to
time.
be real self-conscious about like my pants being high waters because I was so tall and skinny in school.
Oh, same. Yeah.
So I had to make sure that my pants were like 4 inches too long just so they wouldn't be. Because kids are mean, man. They'd make fun of
oh
you.
yeah.
What you waiting on? The
Right.
flood?
Nowadays,
you know?
it's the cyberbullying,
Now's
bro.
yeah. And now high waters are kind of trendy.
But everybody looks perfect online, so you don't have to worry
Yeah.
about cyberbullying,
Exactly.
really. Let me finish this story real fast.
yeah.
So
'Cause we
Richard,
just went
we
out.
just, but Richard, so he's like, oh, we're gonna find you. I was like, Rich, you ain't gonna find me no slippers. Like, trust me, you're just not gonna find. He was like, oh no, what size do you wear? I was like a 14, and he was like, 14 what? And I was like, inches, and he was like, I don't know. He was like, we might not be. I told you. The next day, my man, okay, he lives 2 hours away from the facility we're staying in. Okay. And he drives back home. So we thought he comes back the next day. Like he told us, hey, I'm going to have breakfast with you guys, all this stuff. So remember, he has to leave 2 hours early and we're having breakfast at 7 a.m. So my man is traveling probably from like 4 to 7 o'clock to get there on time. And we started breakfast, but he's like an hour late. So we're like, dude, it's weird. So David, the actual host of the trip, was like, it's weird. Richard is never late. Like that is not in his nature at all. So we're like, you know what? Let's just start eating whatever. My man rolls up. He has a bag. Okay. My dude on the way home took a different route of an hour away from his house to a lady he knew made flip-flops and sandals out of tire. And he had 14s made for me and he waited all night with her while she made them. Wow. And he slept in her hut.
Yeah.
And brought them to me the next day and he was an hour late. I'm like, so I thought washing my feet was it, but it was really the sandals. I'm like, this guy's changed my life forever.
Yeah.
I'll never be the same human.
Yeah.
Never. Anyway, cyberbullying's real.
Yeah. No, it is. I don't get cyberbullied anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think I actually ever got cyberbullied.
I don't think I got cyberbullied either.
I don't
think that made sense.
Every time I get on the internet, I'm like, this is fake.
No,
isn't
I
real.
do know kids because
This
I work
isn't
in a
real.
school. I do know kids that get cyberbullied pretty often, and I have to have conversations, within a school. So I do, and I was a
you
youth
just, like,
pastor
turn it
for
off?
4 years. So, and I've been in youth ministry, youth work for years. So I know that it's a very real thing. You can turn it off, but
I mean, eventually you just block everybody.
that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like what we were just talking about the other day. I mean, if it's not cutting people off, but if you're trying to put arm's length around people that are just not there for you,
it's hard to set boundary when you got a bunch of trolls.
it's so hard.
Because they're always under the bridge.
Because that's what we the troll. Josh, stop. I'm not with these puns, dude. These bad jokes.
Oh,
But I'm like, it's just hard because, dude, you want to so bad. Like, I want to be able to give people. You know what I want? What I want so desperately in my life is I want a scroll of the right answers. for myself and others.
Certain Baptists would tell you got it. It's called the Bible.
Well, I know that, right, for my life, but I'm talking about if you're a
Charismatics
16-year-old
don't think as much, but
vanilla.
charismatics like, what's the Bible?
But they know the circumstances.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, man, it's hard. That whole vibe of cyberbullying and,
I like how you nonchalantly tried to bring it back to cyberbullying while we were kind of like just floating out. You're like, where's that cyberbullying string? Pull that thing back down.
and it's like the confetti that just popped.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of that, what is that? Steve-O just put a new movie out.
Steve-O?
Yeah, Steve-O, or was it Johnny Knoxville? One of them. I think it was like a doc. Was it a documentary? I'm probably tripping. I saw something on Paramount TV that Steve-O was in. I don't know if it was directly about him,
Yeah.
but I was like, dang, man, he's old school.
He is old school.
Bro, I literally remember BC growing up, man. Me and my buddy Steve, we used to make these videos. He used to be my biggest influence, dude. And we would mimic everything that him and the guys did.
Yeah, we'd watch CKY all the time.
All day.
Like if we found a buggy, somebody was getting pushed into bushes.
Facts. Even today. Still, hold my
Somebody.
shoes. Hold my shoes.
Yeah. There's some bushes. Here's a buggy. Who's going?
Exactly. Yep. True.
I remember when Steve-O got the tattoo on his back.
Oh, dude. Remember Bam Margera?
Oh yeah,
Dude, him,
they
bro.
just had something he was just something happened to him in the news.
He's had a life transformation, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't he?
Oh,
Like
I
he
don't
did,
know.
like I think he came off like severe.
Well, I know he went to rehab.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think he really took a really good path for himself and kind of
Got clean.
shifted. Yeah, got clean. And I think that him and his dad are doing really well. I vaguely remember hearing something about
Yeah.
that, but I haven't read up on them dudes since they just put a Jackass out, didn't they?
Yeah, I think 2020.
It was just this
Last
past year. Yeah.
Last year?
Because you asked.
Oh yeah, I was really wanting to go see it
Yeah.
because I hadn't seen one in like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And sorry, that probably offended some of you. Josh, you're supposed to be a Christian. You can't watch Jackass.
Oh, yeah. I don't watch that.
You know, I don't watch it either. I'd actually never really wanted to go see it. That's a lie. I actually really did want to go see it. But I'm kind of glad I didn't because I heard it was just, male genitalia the whole time. And I
Oh,
was
yeah,
like,
dude. See, that's one thing I didn't really appreciate about it. Even then, though, like back.
yeah,
in
they
the day.
started getting to where it was just.
It became like weird. Like, dude, there's something about it where I feel like not only just that, but even like kind of where the world is at, where it's like this trying to figure out, like, I feel like what they were trying to do is make a point
Yeah.
as very like confident men, but also I'm a guy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to explain
know.
what
I
I'm trying to
think
say,
they
but I
kinda-
have it in my head.
I think they were just trying to figure out some of the most insane stuff they could do. And they were like, well, what's more insane?
You don't
than
think it was
getting
political
kicked
at
in the
all?
nuts?
Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I just assumed
I
that
don't
it
think
was
it was political.
okay.
I don't
Because
think
I
it's
feel
political.
like okay.
I mean, I get that they're like, I see what you're saying because there's a lot of movies and TV shows that are coming out and it's like all women's power, women rule the world. I get it. I'm not saying that women can't rule the world, women don't have power, but I really feel like there's been a big feminist push. So I can see where you would probably see they're trying to, but that's the wrong way to go about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like
I think they were just trying to go for the extreme stuff, and they were like, "What's more extreme than this?" It's like probably not a lot.
that is
It's
true.
really-
So I kind of take back my entire statement about it being political because you make really good points. I mean, those are all valid, but I feel like for those dudes specifically, there's something about them that always made me feel like they had like this political agenda.
Yeah.
Like, think about how over the top they were. I'm like, dude, nobody is that over the top. Even when me and Steve used to try some of the craziest things, we were literal sociopath narcissist. Like back then, I was like, I was a psychopath sociopath. I was just like crazy. I was a psycho child.
Yeah.
And I feel like even I wouldn't do some of the things that they did. And I'm like, that's why I felt like it was like there was a statement always.
Yeah.
Like when what's his name did the snake biting his balls, or
Right.
what's his name? I don't know.
forget
Anyway,
his last
I'm
name.
like, dude, like, why the genitals? Why
Remember
the?
they had the alligator bite his nipple.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
The
funny.
alligator. That was actually pretty funny though.
That was funny.
Yeah,
But no, I don't get it. I think they were just kind of. It was views.
yeah.
You
And also,
know,
it was a
that was
MySpace
before. That
day.
was like before Vine.
That was MySpace days.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like you're making movies doing this stuff. Everybody wanted to see. How many people, honestly, if you see somebody fall, you're going to laugh.
Oh,
100%. I mean,
if
it doesn't
anybody
matter
ever
who
says
it
that they don't,
is.
they're liars. Straight
Yeah,
up liars.
it doesn't matter who it is. If you see somebody fall, you're going to chuckle for a moment until you realize, oh wow, that's really serious. Oh, okay, that's not so
Yeah.
bad.
And I don't even mean to, man. That just recently happened to me, actually. I was, Lord help me. Like, it was casual, but they slid down the stairs
Oh, so
and
it
they
was like
tried,
gracefully.
yes.
Yeah.
And they tried grabbing the handle and I couldn't help but to just watch.
Yeah.
And then, like, I walked away for a minute because I had to laugh, but then I came back and asked them if they needed help, which is so bad. But it's like our initial response is to just go off,
And
right? Like,
some people may not be that way, but I know
yeah.
I'm that way.
Yeah. And I mean, it just depends on the circumstance, too. Like, I've seen some people fall and I'm like, eek. Like,
Yeah.
my bad, bro.
Yeah, I've seen something like that. I saw a guy doing when I was an electrician. I saw a guy walking on the roof, and they hadn't set the big AC units in on the roof, and this is like 20, 26 feet. And this dude, he had to be hopped up on something. Like he was either on coke or meth. I don't know. But this joker walked and fell straight through the plywood.
Oh,
And I see this
bro.
dude, and he landed on his side, and I'm like, I didn't laugh. That's probably one of the times I didn't laugh. But he popped right back up, and he just walked off.
Yeah, that's one of those ones
like,
where you're
what in the
like, yeah,
world?
you're like, yo,
Yeah, something had
sus.
to happen.
Sus. Hey, that's them mushroom minerals. I guess they got them healthy, dude. I want to look into that. You brought that up earlier about the whole like how mushrooms are used as vitamins and things like that
Yeah.
these days. I'm like, dude, that's so
They're doing
cool.
like the whole mushroom coffee
Yeah.
replacement. They're doing,
Which is such a cool idea. I didn't know that because for me, like I said, like back then,
Yeah.
the only thing I knew it of was like a what they consider that.
I mean, the only mushrooms I knew of were the poison ones you shouldn't eat because it'll kill you, the ones that you bought in the store, and the ones that got you high.
Yeah, those are the ones that I'm talking about. So I only really knew mushrooms like that. So now that they like there's this all natural way of living off mushrooms, like
Yeah.
coffee and vitamins, that's so cool to me.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of different types. There's somebody in Jacksonville that does like those kind of mushroom things. I
Yeah.
forget who it is. I feel like I don't know. I feel like they're in the flamingo scene.
Oh, like Murray Hill.
Yeah, Murray Hill.
That kind of like what is that? Like
Riverside
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
So kind of hipster.
I was gonna say
natural.
Avondale. I don't know why. I
Yeah.
feel like that's more like Murray Hill, Avondale, but yeah.
But I'd be interested because I love mushrooms. You know, I just had pizza.
Oh yeah, dude.
Mushroom
Mushrooms
and
on the
pepperoni.
regular in my eggs. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. And
And on
I had
pizza.
Domino's though. Like Domino's is one of those pizzas that are like you either love it and you hate it, and if you hate it, there's a really good reason why you hate it.
Yeah.
And if you love it, there's really not a good reason why you love it.
Yeah, it's true. It's kind of like McDonald's.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's how I feel about McDonald's. I'm like, dude, do you really
Dude, I
love
could
McDonald's?
yeah,
Like,
and I could tear McDonald's.
that's what I'm
bro.
saying.
And
But I don't
like it.
I don't like it at all. But I'm like, and when I roll up, I'm like, let me get a Big Mac, let me get extra sauce, 2 McDoubles plain,
Yeah.
and a small fry. Yo, I got my order unlocked, and then also Taco Bell. I'm like the same thing, but
We just had Taco Bell the other day.
yeah, see, and but
Tore it up. The first Taco Bell, we went up here on Roosevelt, the one that's like a KFC and Taco Bell. I waited for like 20 minutes. And I'm like, why am I waiting 20
I'm just
minutes for tacos, bro? If it's Taco Bell tacos.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I already made an order. And now, you remember when you could used to order tacos? You could get like 5 soft tacos, a beefy,
oh, for like $4.
for like $4.
Literally.
That was like $25 for,
Yeah.
a few tacos and a couple of burritos.
That's how
Anyways.
some 5-layer burritos are what $3.59 each now. Soft
don't make any
tacos are
sense.
$2.15, I think, $2.16 after tax or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, what?
It don't make any sense.
I'm like, that don't make no sense.
I
It's
wonder, why
seven.
I wonder why they're so good though. Like they're not good. They're like, I don't know how to explain it.
Dude,
Taco
I'm
Bell.
weak. I'm just gonna say I am straight up weak for a Crunchwrap Supreme. Bro,
That's
there's
what my wife
something
likes.
about them, dude. There's like they did. I'm telling you, they put some stuff in it.
Yeah.
I'll take it to my grave. They put some stuff in it. I don't know if it's
It might just be
MSG.
that grade C meat.
Yeah, but I heard that they have one of the healthiest meats on the fast food
Really?
market, though. Yep. I have. And I also have heard that unless you have a certain grade of quality of food, Pepsi won't partner with you, and they partner with Pepsi.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how true that is. That's probably not accurate because I have a lot of
Y'all
fake-
fact check that.
I was gonna
and,
say fact check. My wife would if she
throw it
was
up in
here.
the-
She'd
throw
probably
it up
already
in the
have it on the cellular
comments.
device and say, "No, that's fake." That's which is so funny because does your wife do that to you? Anytime I throw a fact out there or a fun fact, she'll straight up. She's already on her phone. She's like,
already Googling you?
"Don't trust you." I'm like, "What do you?" Yo, on
My
everything.
wife pretty much believes me, unless it's ridiculously.
But in my defense, though, I kind of got her with that whole COVID thing. Whenever we were dating, I clowned her on that, and then so I think it skewed her for a little bit.
Yeah.
And she's
So
kind
you
of
got
like,
her traumatized though early.
yeah, which is a bummer because it has only been 2 years. And
Yeah.
so did I ever tell you how I got over that COVID thing?
Uh-uh.
And so this is when the vaccination first came out, right? And when you were going to get tested, it's when they started doing the cotton swab in your nose, and they would stick it all the way up, and then
Right.
they would 3 times circulate
Yeah,
it.
like they poke this corner of your eyeball.
Yep. So there was one time where I told her it was actually he's a coffee professional, super great guy. But I went to go visit him in North Carolina, me and a couple of other guys, and I was telling her the story, and then she was like, "Wait, is that for real?" Anyway, the story is that I was telling him, I was like, "Yo, did you know that when you go get because he was totally against the vaccination, right?" And I was like, "Did you know that actually when you go get tested now, when they stick that Q-tip up your nose, the vaccination's on it, so everybody's vaccinated." And he looked, we were in the car, and he whipped his head back, and he was like, "I swear on everything if that's real." And I was like, "Dude, for real." I was like, "Google it right now." He found a fake article that actually aligned with this, and I made it up. And I was like, "Dude, it's a real thing." So anyway, I had my man believe in it for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
We went and got ramen noodles as a group. And I was like, "Yo, I can't hold it in anymore." I was like, "I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. Straight up, I was clowning you." And he was like, "Bro, he was like, how dare I?" He just started going, and I was clowning. I was like, "Dude, to me, it was funny the fact that you didn't even ask any more questions.
Right, you just
you
went with
found a
it.
fake article, but it shows you that how fake the world is." But anyway, I was telling her that, and she was like, I didn't tell her that I was kidding. I didn't tell her that part. I just told her the story leading up to that.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Is that real?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, for sure." I want to see how long she was gonna bite at it. Dude, it was like an hour.
Yeah.
And then I think her dad had called her. And she was like, "Dad, did you know?" And he was like, "That's not true. Whoever told you that is lying straight to your face." She's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Yeah, Google that." He was like, "I'm telling you right now, I know a lot about that vaccination, and that is not it." And so anyway, she came back. She was like, "You're a liar." And she's like, "I'm fact checking you on everything." And I'm like, "Okay."
See, Bethany will believe me if it's believable. But now she knows though, to where it's
To check,
like
yeah.
she knows. She's like, I know your tells.
You're telling.
I know. And so I'll tell her something, and she'll just give me this look, and I'm like, all right, I'll try something
Bro,
later.
you know, real talk, this is real squirrel. This is a side note, but like,
Into the weeds.
yeah. You know, one thing that I'm real obsessed. This isn't a promotion, by the way. I'm just saying because when I was drinking that, I was thinking about how much I missed it. But dude, I was buying packs of Propel and Prime for 2 weeks straight. I bought a pack of Propel, the watermelon kiwi,
Yeah.
or strawberry kiwi, excuse me, and then the strawberry watermelon
Yeah.
Prime. And I was rotating them almost daily for like a week or two. And every time I drink something, bro, I miss them. Like I can't
Well, you
drink
can't buy it
anything
anymore, can you?
Well,
Everything's all sold out.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Publix, you got to get on a stock level. I'm not going to lie. I'm on a stock level. I'm like, every time I go to Publix, I'm like, "Yo, when are y'all restocking?" And then they'll tell me like, "Hey, it's going to be the second Friday of the month," like whatever. And then I'm like, "Oh, okay, I know that they're going to get Prime that day or they're going to get Propel that day because Propel's becoming popular because Trevor Lawrence.
Right.
So he promoted, did that big thing, whatever. But dude, I'm telling you, I don't know what it is, but I can't drink anything the same, especially if it's like a fruit beverage. I'm like, there ain't no way.
Yeah.
There ain't no way. There's something about the drinks. I don't know what it is. I don't know why I just said it.
What's your favorite Kool-Aid?
Ooh, great.
Not purple.
Stop. Bro, I haven't heard that in years. Since my buddy Brandon passed away years ago, dude. 7 years ago? I ain't heard that.
I think any drink that's purple.
Oh,
or
facts.
grape flavored. My favorite all time.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
don't care what it is.
Yeah.
It could be
soda. It could be anything. And I don't even drink
Yeah.
soda. But if somebody's like, "Do you want water or grape soda?" I'm like, "Yo, let me get that purple soda."
back in the day when I used to dip. I found there's a company called Kayak, and they made a grape kayak dip. But now I hit that thing up all the time. I'll old grape kayak.
Dude, why is it 9/11?
Yeah.
But you know what's funny is the fact that growing up, man, we only had two options. We had strawberry or we had grape.
Yeah.
That was it because where I grew up, like
Yeah.
the houses, the people group that I grew up with, that's all we had. Even like when my parents went grocery shopping, that's what they had. That's what
Yeah.
they bought. Like, and we didn't get a lot of groceries. It was
Yeah.
like peanut butter jelly or his goobers,
Well, it was
bread,
always either
eggs.
strawberry jelly or grape jelly.
Bro, we didn't even get sugar with our Kool-Aid 90% of the time. We had to borrow it from the neighbor. I'll roll over there and be like, can I get some sugar for
You
my
ever tried
Kool-Aid?
drinking it without the sugar?
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
I wonder
Only
why
one
that
time
is.
though, I was real thirsty.
I wonder why it's so bad though.
Because sugar is what makes it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the color of it is like it's really just the color that people are attracted to. The sugar is what you're drinking.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that little pack, bro. You're putting 3-4 cups of sugar in
So
it.
it's
That
got-
little pack, what's that doing?
So I guess it's just food coloring,
Facts.
but it's got some kind of grape flavor.
Food coloring. Ain't that what that is?
So are you telling me right now that grape Kool-Aid is just purple powder, and because it's purple, it makes you think that it's grape flavored?
It's kind of like coffee, I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if you train yourself to know what something tastes like and you taste that or smell that, you're immediately going to think it's that. It's like LaCroix. I'm convinced that LaCroix literally has no aroma in their LaCroix or no flavor in their LaCroix.
I would agree with that.
They put a flavor on it, and then when you crack it, it's an instant smell
Yeah.
of what that fruit is, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
You never taste it or smell it again.
Because it does taste bland.
It does.
Every
Super
LaCroix
bland.
I've tasted is
There's
bland.
been one. It's that beach plum that just came out. That's probably the only one that I've ever had that has made me feel like I was actually drinking a fruit.
How about Liquid Death?
Fire.
Dude,
Yo, that mixed berry,
their
though.
mixed berry?
That mixed berry is sick. And that
We should
mango,
have them on. We should have them here.
We should. We should go to what is that? Jacksonville Coffee Company
yeah.
and snag them. But yeah. Oh,
Do they sell them there?
I thought you said they did.
I don't know. I don't think they do.
Oh, okay, never mind. My bad. Anyway, it's a new coffee shop in town. If you don't know,
Yeah.
check them out. Instagram.
They might. I'm sure. I think every coffee shop sells Liquid Death these days.
Yeah, I mean everybody. That was their market. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
kind of like with us, our market people. We're trying to go for more of that, I guess, scruff stuff.
The old scruff stuff. Yeah. So y'all need to check out our coffee, scruffyscoffee.com.
Yeah,
And
Instagram.
yeah, just see what we're doing. We're actually giving a portion of our profits. I'd love to give all of our profits to the fight against child trafficking, but then we wouldn't have a business. So
Yeah.
we got to be able to run. We got to be able to buy coffee, buy bags, all that good stuff. But yeah, y'all check it out. We're partnering with a few different organizations that are boots on the ground, like rescuing kids, stopping pedophiles, all that good stuff.
Which is crazy, man. I've been doing a lot of research on that topic
Yeah.
lately too. Yeah, just trying to get educated because I feel like that's where I'm at. Like I want to educate people on this topic.
Yeah.
You know, because I feel like giving and educating are so good for people,
Yeah.
man. It's like educating them on why they should give toward this.
Well, that's one of the things that's so popular in marketing right now. Like even on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, everybody either wants to be educated or entertained.
Oh yeah, for
That's
sure.
it.
Yeah.
So there's nothing else. So if you're not entertaining, you better be educating.
Right.
And if you're not educating, you better be entertaining. And if you can do both, then you might have a monopoly on the thing.
Right.
So
Yeah, I feel like that's the straight up marketing. Everybody's doing it. It's like I feel, that's the niche everybody's trying to
Yeah.
get. What am I getting from this?
Right.
Why do I benefit from your content?
what's something you've been reading lately? Like in the Bible?
I've been reading, dang, that's hard because I've been reading a lot on multiple, but what has been
What
most
stuck out?
important to me, stuck out, has been 2 Samuel with Benaiah, learning a lot about him. So man, I'm just so amazed at how God used him and how God used him in legacies for David.
Yeah.
So like for David, then Solomon, and how he was a guard for so long for the same family. Like think about the loyalty that comes with that, man.
Yeah.
You got to be real loyal, especially watching one man have what 700 wives.
700 wives and 1,000 concubines.
Right. Like think about that.
1,700 women.
You're like, yo, I don't know if I necessarily agree with you, but like I'll
He
still
could
be
have
your
started his own
bodyguard.
Tinder.
Right. Like it's one of those things where you look at Benaiah, bro, and you look at his resume. It's like imagine if you're David,
Yeah.
right? And you pick up this resume and it just says Benaiah on it, right? And man has no education,
Yeah. He's
right?
just
But then
been
you start
guard.
going through what he's done, and it's like all these crazy tasks that he's done. He's performed. He's killed lions and ditches, and you know what I mean. He's led armies of 1,000 with just one arrow,
Yeah.
and killed like and protected the king, and all these things, crazy miraculous things. And you're like, yo, I want this man to be my guard,
Yeah. He was
straight
your
up.
G.
Put him in first place, like no second, third, or fourth, like first place in command for all of the army.
Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, for that's not really like a deep topic, but I'm guessing just the idea of how courageous he was.
Yeah.
Like he was. He just went,
As a
dude.
guard.
He went as he went after it.
Yeah.
Like he didn't hold back, bro. Like I even think about that. I think I've mentioned that to you before, where I have this gift of evangelism. I love to talk about Jesus
Yeah.
in any setting. If there's a way for me to bring up Jesus, especially to somebody that doesn't know him, I want to bring him up.
Right.
That's what I want
I've
to
seen
do.
you in action. You do it.
So
I mean, you'd be walking in the bathroom, someone in the stall, just straight blowing it up, and you'd be like, "Ooh, hey, do you know the Lord?"
a little crazy, but no, but like I love to talk about him so much. So whenever I think about my gift and where I'm at in the last couple of years, I've really pushed that gift aside.
Yeah.
I haven't used it to the capacity I know it needs to be used. And it makes me so reading stories like Benaiah has pushed me to, bro, I'm wasting time.
Yeah.
I am. I'm wasting time in a world that needs it so bad right now and that needs the truth, and they need a cup of hope.
Right.
That's what they need.
Oh yeah.
So them stories, they empower me and they remind me of why God gives gifts. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So, yeah.
That's what's up.
You?
I was in John, so we did a little devotion Sunday with the family right before church, and it's Resurrection Sunday, Easter Sunday, if you like to call it Easter. I don't really care these days. I used to care. I used to be like, I can't call it Easter because it was a pagan thing, and it's got to be resurrection. And I'm like, now I don't even care.
I
I'm
mean,
like,
what do you
know
call
what?
Christmas?
Right.
What do Christians call Christmas? Christ's birthday? Like,
I don't know. I might start calling it Yuletide.
I mean, I feel like, I get the idea of it, but it's just so religious. And
I think so. Like, there's an aspect of it. It's like, if God can redeem it, if we can, I don't know. Anyways, I feel like that'll be another topic for another
yeah,
day.
that'll be a whole nother night.
But we were reading through John, and so we read the resurrection story and how Mary went to the tomb and saw that it was empty, and she heard the garden, what she presumed to be the gardener, because she was crying, and Jesus said to her, "Hey, woman, why are you crying?" And it says that she looked back and then said, "If you've known where they've taken him, please let me know if you know where he's at, if you buried him or whatever, wherever you took him." And then Jesus said, "Mary," and she turned around and she knew him. She was like, "Oh my goodness!" She started, she fell at his feet. It says she clung to him, but for me, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, man, one, just teaching my kids the resurrection. That's
Right.
fun. They're not going to get a lot of deep revelation at 8 years old, right? So for me, I was sitting there reading it, and I'm like, Mary was all caught up in her feelings of mourning. She was caught up in her circumstance, in her situation. And when she heard Jesus talk, she turned to see him. But because she was so focused on her situation and circumstance, she couldn't recognize that that was Jesus, whom she'd walked with for almost the entirety of his ministry, right? And so it was, to me, telling to me, it's like, wow, we can be so focused on our circumstances and situations that it distorts the view of Christ to where Christ becomes unrecognizable because we're not focused on him, we're focused on our circumstances, what's going on in our lives. But when he said Mary, he spoke, like if I know your name in a way, like if I said Brandon, you're going to know somebody knows me and it's with intention, right? And we've been friends long enough that if I see you in Walmart and I'm like, Brandon, you're going to be like, oh, that sounds like Josh, right? So that same thing happened. First, he identified her as woman. You're caught up in your emotions, you're caught up in your circumstance. And he didn't reveal the intimacy between her and him, in a sense. And it was when he said Mary, it said she turned and realized it was Jesus. So I feel like there's just, it's kind of something I was thinking about. I was like, man, sometimes we just get caught up in our circumstances and we completely lose focus of who Christ is in our life. And there's always a voice that's calling our name.
Yeah, we have, you know, we, well, I can speak for me, right? So not a we, it's a me. So whenever I've noticed that I am distorted from Christ in my life,
Yeah.
it's because I care about the people that are around me and what they have to say.
Right.
And I think that that's a personal struggle, though, right? That's something I struggle with that I have to grow in and have grown extremely well.
Yeah.
Like I've grown like a lot through that. I care very little now on that. So, but like in the same sense, though, there is the very real part where Mary is one of the most relatable people because think about how humble she was.
Yeah.
God knew that she was going to respond a certain way.
Yeah.
Because how did he cast a demon
Yeah.
out of her? He said her name.
Yeah.
He said, Mary, now you're free.
Yeah.
Right? So he knew she was going to respond to what saved her.
Yeah.
So that was what turned her, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It turned her head because she was like, I know that
I
moment.
know that voice.
He'll always bring you back to where you were saved and how you were saved. And when you met him, when you get distorted, God will always remind you of who he is when he first met you.
Yeah.
When he became your first love. And I think that that's where, like for me, I need those reminders. My biggest prayer is, God, I want to be humble. I want to walk and stay in humility. And I want to make sure that I'm the first to say sorry always.
Right.
Why? Because it's going to remind me that I am fully dead and crucified.
Right.
And Christ be resurrected in me. That's what my goal is. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the distortion comes because you care too much.
Right.
You just care. And it's like, but you're not supposed to care.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to. We aren't called to that when we're saved and born again believers.
Right.
We're called to be fully in him. Right?
Yeah. Focused on him, only him alone. Christ and Christ alone.
Why did that remind me of Dan Muller?
I don't know. All right, well, on that, we're ending it, guys. Hey, if there's anything you want to hear us talk about, just holler at us. No, we got to end it because it's live. Oh, we can't cut it.
What do you mean it's live?
It's live.
Like on YouTube?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It's live, bro. It's live. And it's been an hour already. It's been an hour already.
I can't-
I'm just kidding. It's not really live.
Dude, stop. You do this to me every time.
But guys, hey, we're going to end it here. If you really enjoyed this podcast and you want us to keep kind of doing them more, let us know in the comments. Also, let us know if there's anything you want to hear us talk about. Ask questions. We'll answer questions. There's going to be other people on the show. More than likely, it's going to be always me and Brandon. We'll have another guest. We'll have some friends. We'll have some pastors from the city. We'll have some speakers from the nations. We'll have presidents from other worlds. But
Yeah, seriously.
Anyways, go ahead and just let us know in the comments what you think. Hit subscribe, like it, and we will see you on the next
Peace.
podcast.
You guys are awesome.